I wasn't planning on going live today at all, but I thought I would just jump in here to discuss self care routines because I asked that question and I realized it brought up a lot of stuff just from a few people, but I thought that I would discuss it. So, perfect self care routine. I don't know if you're one of those people like me who has has this really elaborate routine and is really dependent on their routine, who um, is really good at self-care routines and like coming up with the best things and like all these no, I'm sure there's people like that in the group, so I'm always like trying to optimize myself and like hack myself to be the best I can be and like drink the right this, the right that, eat the right this or that, sleep this many hours, do the right kind of routine and rituals, have the right kind of altar, have the right kind of just the right everything. So I used to be a person very devoted, very dedicated, and I still am, but this is what my routine used to look like. I used to wake up at 4:30, 5 in the morning, sometimes 3. I would just get woken up. Those times are magical times. That type of morning is my favorite time of morning, and if I can wake up that early, great. Usually I do not because I have a child who wakes up with me. So I just don't do that all the time because it's like he knows that I'm going to do something. It's like he knows I'm going to wake up. So anyway, 4:35 in the morning I used to wake up every single day, do like 90 minutes of yoga, 30 minutes at the very least, normally almost always 90 minutes of yoga. And not just like stretching, and I had to like break a sweat or I didn't feel that I was doing the right kind of yoga. And I did, if you know anything about yoga, vinyasa, really fast paced vinyasa. I dipped into Ashtanga for a while, which is very fast. I still love that, I think, because I have a lot of fire in my system, like astrologically and Ayurvedically and all that. Um, it's it's probably best if I don't do that, but for some reason it speaks to me to like burn things off. So I did that. I woke up 4:35 in the morning. Like I said, sometimes 3, do a million minutes of yoga. Um, then I would journal and drink coffee or tea if I had decided that I wasn't going to drink coffee because I read again that it was bad for me. Um, so I did that every single morning, and then I went to my job. Sometimes I would run in the morning too, even though I hate running. I don't know why I did it. I hated it. Probably because I was trying to lose weight all the time. So I was also in amazing shape. I was really in amazing shape. Obviously because I was doing a million hours of yoga and running, but it was never good enough. If I look back, I was never optimized or good enough. And so that is something I think that happens with us who mean well, who are um, devoted people. We tend to just like never do enough. And so now my 2-year old came barreling through my life, you know, and I had to like squeeze, he woke up like every 45 minutes to 30 minutes to nurse and to eat. And so I could not wake up. I was probably already awake at 4 in the morning, but I was, my self care had to change. And thank goodness, because I became a lot easier with myself. I was able to let the self care actually heal me versus being just one more thing off my task list. So it became literally about self preservation. Me, like actually, I needed that self care to look different, and I still believe strongly that we should all invest time in ourselves, but it doesn't have to look a certain way. I think we pressure ourselves to make our self care like a long process. We also pressure ourselves to, I think we're all probably past this in the group, but I'll mention it anyway. We all make it, we see like a self care ritual with certain candles that are really nice and certain crystals and oils and all these things. And I love these things. I have things that I use that I really like to have, but they're not necessary. When I first had my son, my self-care routine was like breathing for 5 minutes, or less sometimes. And or that's when tarot came in really handy. I would just pick a card and meditate upon that card with him like laying next to me, doing a little bit of stretching yoga, if I felt like it. So everything became really intuitive. And so now I wake up in the morning. I have certain things I like to do, but I wake up in the morning, and this is why it's perfect. I wake up in the morning, usually without an alarm. I'm trying to wake up before him if I can. So I set an alarm sometimes, but I have the privilege of not having to set an alarm. So I wake up at a certain time. I will usually, write. I like to write when my brain is all fuzzy. And I like to do Reiki over situations in my life, and I have candles I light and things like that. Sometimes by this point, if I've even made it out of bed, my little son's feet come pattering down the hall, and I have to take care of him. He likes to cuddle in the morning and stuff like that, so that's part of my routine. And then I sometimes do yoga. My yoga what I mean by yoga, it's not like the sweaty, I must sweat, or it's not yoga. It's really sometimes, like yesterday I did 7 minutes, literally 7 minutes of some stretching, and I felt so amazing afterwards. Sometimes when I did those 90-minute sessions, it was just never enough for me to feel good. I just never felt like good enough. So it was just like grudgingly hitting my mat. And I do really believe in consistency. I believe that we need to invest in ourselves as healers and dreamers and people who care about others so much. And I feel like this group is completely full of that. But it doesn't always have to look the same. That was like life-changing for me. And thank goodness for my son teaching me that. So yes, the perfect self-care routine. This is kind of a trick title. And that even now I like fall for that. I like will see that and be like, okay, what should I be doing to be the fully optimized being that I should be? And maybe some of you don't care about that, and there's this other part of you that wants to, I'm guessing a lot of us have like a Christian background of some sort. And we feel almost like if we don't do the right things, I might be rejecting here, but if we don't do the right things, then we won't get the gift at the end of the rainbow. Like we won't be spiritual enough. We won't be devoted enough to receive our gifts. If we ever work on manifesting, that word has a lot of weight to it. But if we're working on manifesting, then if we don't do the certain ritual, then we will not get the thing that we want. So that can just be a prison. So the perfect routine, honestly, to me, is waking up, stopping in the middle of the day and checking in with yourself and seeing what you need at that moment. Sometimes your routine can literally be taking one big breath. And you know what, if I would have heard this a few years ago, I would have been like, okay, that sounds nice. I wish that was enough, because sometimes self-care becomes an addiction as well, and a way of numbing. So this video is becoming such a huge topic, but it's like almost this like self-flagellation. Like, if I am good enough, if I do enough things, and I will get to be my best self, and that kind of thing. So I believe in self-care. I think it's absolutely vital. I don't think it needs to look a certain way all the time. And I don't think it needs to last like 5 hours. And something else I'm going to say, I don't think that there is ever an excuse not to take care of yourself. But I think that you do need to do it, but I don't think it needs to look the same way. I don't think it needs to last hours. And so some of us are probably investing in our self-care and our spiritual practice, whatever that looks like, and not calling it that because it's not good enough. So something to ask yourself today: am I good enough? And is my practice good enough? Is my practice supposed to serve some outside force, or is my practice supposed to serve me? And something, if your practice is serving you, then it is good enough. And so that is a perfect self-care routine, is if it's serving you. So I want to open up this video. I did not plan on going live at all, but I want to open up for questions. If you want some kind of to discuss your self-care, you can comment below and I will try to help you, you know, piece together what is possible for you. So if you're running into that, well, I don't have time, I work too much. Believe me, I've been there too. I had a young child with a full-time job and I started a business. I don't know why I did that. And it became different when I needed it to work for me versus me working for the practice. So that was one of my mantras for a while. I let the practice work for me. I do not work for my practice. So there's a subtlety there. Instead of working for some ideal, you're working because you need something in a certain day. So intuitive self-care is what I teach people. So if you need help figuring out, first of all, how to fit in your day, how to make it attainable, then I can help you with that. If you need help with intuitively guiding your self-care and really learning how to feel what you need that day, I'm very available to help with that. And I have about 4 spots open this month. If you would like to work with me, I am doing my mentorship program for 8 weeks at a time. It's very deep work. It can take you on, we do tarot readings, Reiki, all of these things, but these are just tools. They're all customized. Wait a second for that motorcycle to run. Anyway, so my mentorship is completely customized for you, what you need. A lot of my tools are tarot, Reiki, energy work, yoga, and also all that goal setting stuff, all the how to make it happen in your life right now. So if you have worked with me, you can comment below and kind of give people an idea what that's like to work with me. I would love for others to have less obscurity around it. But yes, the call is free. It's an hour long. It is a lot of discussing what you need and want and see if we're a good match. And even that, if you want to message me and instead of commenting on what you're struggling with self-care, then let me know. I'm open for messages. And if you want to schedule a call with me, I'm going to put the link below. If you want to talk about your self-care routine on this video, go ahead and comment or message me and let's figure it out. So anyway, have a beautiful day, and let me know how I can assist you.